Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank and a stunning turn of events. It is raining in England. Today we are taking on Bournemouth, from the mouth of the Bourne. Bournemouth. God, I'm glad my team isn't named after a kind of mouth. Look at that beautiful ginger. We got Milos, aka Merrick, playing today, as well as John Green and John Green, teammates in life and in love. Today I'm going to talk about free will, specifically whether we have it. I guess also kind of what we talk about when we talk about free will. At least in the West, for lack of a better word. Well, not just in the West. In the Islamo-Judeo-Christian world. For a long time, for millennia, the conversation about free will has revolved around kind of our relationship with God or with religion or with the fates. And now, of course, it revolves a lot around DNA, and which I think nicely reflects the changing role that science and what a great steal scientific discovery play in our lives these days. But I guess I'm not going to approach it from like the Milton way of do we have free will when it comes to choosing whether we're with the devil or not. I'm going to approach it in the in the way of talking about in the sciencey way, I guess. But I think the answer, regardless, is yes in a limited way. There are obviously things that you aren't free to choose. So for a long time, opponents of, or I shouldn't say opponents, but people who wanted to stigmatize homosexuality would say, well, homosexuality is a choice. And then when they didn't want to stigmatize, or when they wanted to stigmatize homosexuality, but it became clear that there was massive amounts of evidence for genetic links to. Oh, I'm sorry that you got hurt, Mr. O'Kane. You're being replaced by McDonald. Is this a Scottish team? But then it was about well, it's they're making this choice that animals make. They're making a sort of animalistic choice, by going with their mere genetics instead of overcoming those desires as the rest of us must do, which is just crap. So if you're gay, you don't. That isn't a choice, right? Nor is it a choice to be straight. You can choose identities within the spectrum, but a lot of that stuff is not like a free will. Oh, Milos is not a free will issue, even though it was often constructed that way in the past. But I don't believe in strict determinism, and I don't think that you really can when you see the kind of incredibly complex relationship we obviously. Oh! I don't want to criticize Ball John Green, but that shot did hit him in the back, or it would have gone in the net. I don't think you can when you see the incredibly complicated response that we have to our genetic makeup. That it isn't just a matter of mapping the human genome and then understanding that aptitude is destiny or genetics are destiny, but that it's about the expression of genes, which are insanely complex, and it's about the way that it's about our relationships and our food and all. I mean, just an astonishing variety of things. And so you have to say that when we talk about free will, what we're really talking about is the experience of choice, and we certainly have the experience of choice in a lot of important ways. There are a lot of things that we do have some say in. Obviously, I think that say comes from inside of our consciousness. So if you want to say that all of if you want to include the human brain in your conversation about free will, is it, if it's determined by your brain, is it still free will? Is there some consciousness separate from your brain, some kind of distinct soul or whatever? That's a very different conversation, and then I don't know if I believe in it. But I definitely believe that we have that that experience that experience of choice, and that in that sense at least, like the will is truly free. Like we do have some say in how things go for us. I don't really, whether it's strict religious determinism along the lines of Calvinism, like God decided whether you would go to hell a long time ago, or the strict scientific determinism of like your brain is going to decide everything that happens to you in your life. I think the number of factors are way too complex for that to be like, for us to meaningfully call that determinism. If it's functionally infinite, like if the factors are functionally infinite, is it still deterministic? I don't think so. So yes, I would say that we do have free will. You shouldn't worry about whether you can make choice X or choice Y. I want to make choice Z. Oh, get in the net! God. You know what? I say I have free will, but then here I am playing my like 400th game of FIFA, still unable to score. God, I haven't had I mean, this is like high school all of a sudden. I just cannot get it done. I would say context is everything, but in fact, I intended it in the dirty context. Come on, Green! No! Bad tackling! You lost your temper. You lost your temper, and when you lose your temper, you lose your opportunity. I think what this game needs is Leroy Williamson. How many times have I said that, and how many times have I been right? 4 and 2. Yeah, so I never took like philosophy classes in college. I'm not able to have this conversation in a really in-depth way. Although my philosophy major friends, man, like talking to them about free will is just a recipe for having a terrible, terrible headache. But I do think that, like, whether you're talking about religion or science, that idea that there's an easy set of factors, or even a computable set of factors that goes into a decision, or into any kind of like really complicated system, whether it's a human system or even a weather system. We might be able to get closer. We might be able to get to a point where we can talk about probabilities. Oh! With his last kick of the ball, he's big up. That's the wrong song. That's the wrong song. Bob, John Green, John Green. Upon his mustache we were keen. He gives it all for the team. Ball, John Green, John Green. Did you see that Leroy Williamson just came on and did that little do-si-do with other John Green when he came on? I meant to take off Ball, John Green, but I can't tell the difference between them sometimes. They're just two handsome men who love each other. Yeah, so like for instance, take Leroy Williamson's decision to enter the TARDIS and come with me to FIFA 13. Did Leroy Williamson make that decision? I would argue, Green Eggs and Foderingham, look at his pecs. I would argue that he did make that decision. Now, you could say like, that decision was made for him because he really loves football and he was really attached to Swindon and he really loved Ball, John Green, and other John Green, and like he wanted to be managed by you and all that stuff. And that's true. And those are all factors in his decision-making process. But I think it is still his decision. And I think he could have made it differently. And if he had made it differently, it would have been him. It would have been him making it. So like that to me, when I talk about free will, that's what I mean. I mean that there is a self, and that self does make decisions, and those decisions are not like easily or they're not predicted with like 100% accuracy. That's for instance, I had no idea where that guy was going to throw, but he chose to throw there, and that's fine. Everything worked out better than expected. Why don't you pass it to Leroy Williamson? Yeah. And then why not back to Paul Junk? We were trying to be too fancy. We wanted like a tiki-taka Barcelona-style goal. I had a couple of those during the transfer period where you guys weren't watching me play. I'm much better when you're not watching. Yeah, their context is everything. But I'm much better when you're not watching. When you're just like, when I can play without having to talk, I don't want to brag, but I'm astonishingly talented. It's hard to talk about free... the unnecessary slide tackles, but then one size fits all. He's there. He's big. I patched it the wrong team. In my defense, they're both red. Someone Someone made a terrible decision here. I don't know who that was, but it certainly wasn't me. It was me. Oh, Leroy Williamson! Leroy Williams! Oh! Go Hug! Go yeah! Listen to the song!
Leroy Williamson scores occasionally. Leroy Williamson scores occasionally. He doesn't always score.
How awesome is the song? Ah! Thank you, Swoodily Chant Project, for making that song. Oh, look at this. Leroy Williamson, who does score occasionally in his personal life, also on the football pitch, who I was just talking about. I don't want to brag, but my managerial decisions this season have just been phenomenal. I was like, maybe this game needs Leroy Williamson. Bam! That game needed Leroy Williamson. The moment everything's fine. We got one size fits all in the back. Look at him having a game. Great pass out of the back. Oh, we're in the 90th minute, and it's over. The Swindon Swoodilypoopers utilize their free will to defeat the Mouth of Bourne 2-0. Thanks for watching. Best wishes.